Que paso, worldwide fans of cinema? Feliz año nuevo. Welcome to Enfuegotainment in 2017, where we always cover the hottest entertainment with an edge. And I have two familiar faces with me today.
What's up? I'm CECIL Laird.
And I'm Brittini Lee.
Gracias for joining us, guys. And we are talking about a film that was originally supposed to be out in 2016, but was supposed to get some Oscar consideration, supposed to be kind of a tear-jerker, something that's going to pull on the emotional strings. It is A Monster Calls.
How does the story begin?
Was a boy too old to be a kid.
You're coming to live with me. Don't touch anything.
Too young to be a man.
I no longer see you.
What did he do?
He called for a monster.
And boy oh boy, did this really do what I heard murmurings about. We always cover a little good, bad, and ugly. Bueno, malo, and feo, as we describe it here. And story-wise, it's based on a book, a children's book, if I'm not mistaken, no less. But holy cow, did this just effectively drill me and just leave me feeling used up and depleted. Holy God, was it intense, especially in the third act. It just really... It wasn't as advertised. I feel like the trailers didn't really reveal as much about the sadness that was going to be on display here. Right. So I'm going to go to my friend here, Sir Cecil, and what is a bueno that sticks out to you initially?
Well, I'm going to just jump out and say the fact that something really good for me is the fact that I think this movie is going to sit with me for a long time, and because of the fact that it was one of the most emotionally affecting movies I've seen in a long time. I cried 3 times, and I think, and I'm not trying to like be proud of it, I'm just telling you, I cried 3 times, and it might have been more tears than the movie I thought was the movie I had cried the most at previous to this.
I want to know what that movie is.
The Green Mile.
Like, okay, The Green Mile.
The Green Mile was the one that got me like tears flowing, and this was the same thing.
Stephen King represent.
That was excellent. So I gotta say the emotional impact is gotta be my topmost bueno.
Yeah, solid storytelling. I'm gonna chime in and say the fact that this new coming kid, whose name eludes me, I know all the big names in this. We had some Toby Kebbell, we had some Felicity, what is her name? Girl from Rogue One, it's killing me. Felicity Jones, I want to say.
Oh yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, yeah, Felicity Jones. You have Liam Neeson voicing this monster, this creature. You also have Sigourney Weaver playing the grandmother of the lead kid. I thought
powerhouse role.
Yeah, I thought everybody in it just killed it acting-wise, but the kid stole the show. He's a newcomer, and the emotional weight that he brought to this movie floored me, especially in that aforementioned third act. It was intense. I related to him so much with, you know, loss and dealing with it and all these other things, and also some of the scripting where you're expecting consequence for how upset he is, and it didn't come. They're like, well, what good is that going to do? That's not spoiling anything because we try not to spoil things.
And
here.
what that did was that throws the audience off. I think it threw me off, and so I'm assuming it threw everyone else off. Like you got to expect that. You'll get punished for acting out no matter what the circumstance, but in this, the punishment doesn't come, and so you're like, that in itself throws the audience off, which is really cool.
Yeah, big time. So great performances. Ms. Brittini, what did you like about this? Bueno, good stuff.
My bueno would have to be the close-ups of the monster, like when he's holding the boy in his hand.
So much better than BFG.
Oh my gosh, so much better.
This blew BFG away, man.
It was beautiful.
There was one beautiful transition shot specifically from hand to tree kind of thing. It was amazing. Sorry, not to jump on.
No, absolutely. Pile on.
But there was some other visual cues that they took that I thought were really rad. There's some storytelling that's done by this monstrous giant of sorts, this tree.
Yeah.
And it's a borderline segue into full-on animation. Did you dig that?
That was awesome.
I thought it was great. You
really
being artistically inclined, I've seen your visual work. It's good.
You know what it actually reminded me of was the the flashback sequence in Krampus, because that was done in a similar 2D paper style.
Yeah,
this was a little bit different.
It almost felt watercolory.
Well, yeah.
It was
Well, even
beautiful,
the kid even says, "I see watercolors," and he's like, "What else?" You know, and then it goes into the world. So
that was really beautiful.
God, the visuals in the movie were just amazing.
Yeah, well written, beautiful visuals, and fantastic acting. Yeah, I guess it deserved that Oscar push that the studio made.
So wait, did they consider it having come out in 2016 or no?
Yeah, anything that has that limited
so it might be
screening
involved in this Oscar.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so even
I'm
though
glad. It's a shame because didn't they say it was limited release?
Initially, yeah.
Maybe
So
that's
it
one
like
of the
hit the well, maybe that would be a MALO, I guess. And I guess since we're on unlimited time, we're not trying to gush too much about this, guys. A MALO here would be the fact that this initially was not seen by as many people as it probably should have, because it was showing up on critics' best of the year lists. And yeah, if we're gonna get into the MALO, delve into that a little bit more, the bad is that audiences did not get to see this until January because of that movement that happened, because of that consideration that the studio was hoping for. I'm sad that we had to wait. This might have even been on some of my top lists and things of that nature here in Enfuegotainment that you guys have probably seen. Another bad I could maybe mention is that there were 3 different stories that come up in this in a retelling manner. The first one was the one that I found the most intriguing. I felt like the second and third were shorter and just not quite as detail-filled, maybe. I'm really, once again, grasping for straws, as often happens with a film that I really, really enjoyed. So that's really one of the few things that I can think of. Anything bad, Brittany, you can mention that pops into mind?
You must have thought it was a little slow.
Yeah, I was gonna say there were maybe points where I thought it was a little long in the tooth, but then
there were lulls for sure.
There were lulls, but that's again, you're trying to pull at any piece you can to find something bad. So
I've got something.
I'm anxious to hear. Yeah,
and this might be controversial for those who have seen it and know the subject matter, but
purposeful.
I thought the first 45 minutes of the movie were, while well acted, something we've seen before in other iterations, actually a number of times, as a matter of fact.
Cliche, trivial.
A kid dealing with this particular issue has been done a number of times at this point. And so I was starting to get a little angry. I was like, oh man, really? And it took a while before the monster came into it. And then we started to see what the movie really was, and I started to like it much more after that. But the first 45 minutes can seem very deja vu-ish from past movies that you may have seen. That's one MALO I can say.
No, I'm with you there, man. It didn't necessarily, in those initial stages, set itself apart. It was, second, third act as it really unraveled the story and, strong performances and all that you started to see that, and I guess those differentiating aspects about it. So, well, if we're gonna, since there's not too much bad to mention, Feo, ugly. One thing that does happen when we go into the Feo, into the ugly guys, is that there is some spoilers. We try not to divulge too much, but at least in this area, if you haven't seen the film before, maybe turn back, because this is where we reveal a little bit more, especially about later events that happen within it. I was going to mention the fact that the next film this guy is doing is the Jurassic World sequel, and first and foremost, it's ugly and kind of funny in that ironic way that he out Spielberg, him doing BFG this year, and I felt like this with the emotional punch, the visuals of the creature and all that stuff was far superior, but it's also kind of ugly that as heart-wrenching and just emotionally draining as this was, he was saying, I'm ready to have some fun. Remember in those comments? I think we even discussed this in the Horror Show News, the fact that the director was like, I'm ready to have some fun and go mess around with dinosaurs and, play with Spielberg, as you joked on the news. So I thought that was kind of funny that it was so just taxing on your psyche watching this film. I guess I'm not surprised he wants to go have, some enjoyment and something a little less serious. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, Brittany, what's an ugly for you?
My ugly would have to be, and it's not an ugly that's about the movie, but it's an ugly that's just an ugly process to see. And they did a great job on the makeup for the mother going through the process of chemotherapy and everything, and it was ugly in the beautiful way that it was done. Like, they did a great job.
Yep, and that's, back at Ms. Felicity. She did a hell of a job in this, even though she wasn't seen maybe as much as even Sigourney Weaver's character, or, I think even Kebbell got, like, equal time, but it was still chilling and really sad to see. I mean, with, like, some of the bones on the back and everything, and, the sunken face and everything. It was brutal. It was definitely ugly, but in that, not a bad way, just a profound, just inducing an emotion within you kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm so there with you.
Very well done, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Anything ugly you can mention?
Yeah, I had a couple, actually. I'm grasping. I can't remember one that I had in my mind. It's come and gone twice now in the process of this review. But one of the things that I know is definitely ugly, sort of circling back to how we started, was my face during the movie, because there was scenes that just, not only were they sad, but they were just wrecking ball status. Like, I mean, not even just tear-jerking, but like it felt like my heart was getting pulled out of my chest at times, because it's so relatable. For any that have gone through a circumstance like this, it's extremely relatable. Whether it be because of this particular cause, as it were. So basically what happens is the whole movie, the kid is wrestling with the fact that his mom is dying from cancer, but he's constantly putting hope in these new treatments that she's trying. And essentially the tree monster comes to tell him stories. Oh, now thank God we did this, because now I remember my point.
It's clicking. I knew there was a reason for this. I love this man's insight.
So, what I was going to drive at was, what was really interesting is, so he's dealing with his mom essentially slowly dying, and the tree creature comes about 40 minutes in and tells him, I'm going to come and tell you 3 stories, and then you're going to come and tell me a 4th.
Yep.
And what was interesting is I was watching the movie, and I don't know if I'm putting this on the movie or if it was actually there, but I feel like it was very much there.
Art is interpretive. I want to hear it. Yeah.
I think that the movie was separated by the tree monster's stories into the 5 stages of grief. There's the first stage of denial, where he's refusing to believe that his mom is going to die. She's going to be better. Tree monster tells his first story. Then the second is anger, when he beats the crap out of everything. And the third is bargaining, where he starts telling the tree, you need to give me something to bring my mom back, you know.
And he even implies that he is going to save the mom, and the kid thinks it's going to happen.
And then depression, and that's, the whole scene where his mom says goodbye to him, essentially. And then the final story is his story, and that leads to acceptance, because he has no choice but to accept it.
Yeah, which is the 5th story in the onward outlook of everything after those 4 tales.
The movie is essentially a breakdown of the 5 stages of grief. And it was amazingly done in a fantastical sort of way.
I'm very curious about the book now at this point.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the book other than...
Me neither, yeah.
Because we did the trailer reaction for this on the horror show, and we have caught a lot of flack for it, because they're like, this isn't horror at all, this is a kid's book, and all this. And I could see, from a certain angle, this could definitely be considered a version of a fantasy horror story.
Yeah.
Because there's some definitely real-life horror elements to it.
Yeah, dark dramatic fantasy with scary stuff in it.
But ultimately, it does belong here on Enfuegotainment, because it's really just a fantasy drama. Or dramatic fantasy, or fantastical drama. I don't know quite how to put it, but that's what it is.
Sad, not scary.
Yeah. Oh, and heavy. I was mentioning to Brittany,
as a brick to the back of the head.
Yeah, on the way back, I was like, normally when you go see a movie, it's to feel like a weight's been lifted from you. This one feels like a giant weight's been hefted upon me.
Yes, we were all carrying burdens on our backs after this, and as I think I told both of them, we always like to not discuss things right when we're walking out of the theater. Wait till we hit the camera. And I just said, I don't think there was a dry eye in that theater by the end of this movie.
Absolutely not.
How the hell could there be? You are not a person.
Definitely heard a chorus of sniffs.
Yeah, myself included. And the fact that the lady beside me, my friend, the random guy on the other side of me, all of us were just trying to hold it in and, tear up and hold it back in. But damn good filmmaking to induce.
You got to be very careful how you breathe. When you're in the middle of crying, you can't, because I was holding my breath a few times, because I knew it was going to be like if I had done it,
quivering almost. holding that reaction because you don't want to distract other people. And you know, I mean...
I know then I become the show.
Well, it speaks volumes that not only were we not speaking at the end, walking
sat
out of the...
for a while.
We
Yeah.
did sit, but there were still people walking out behind us.
Yeah, and those are the people who
and-
brought in little kids, though,
Yeah.
because this is not
that
a
was
kids
ridiculous.
movie
Not
at
at
the end
all.
of
Not
the
a
day.
kids
The
movie.
kids seemed
It
bored.
was.
They were talking
The
in the middle of the
whole
movie.
time.
Yeah.
Playing with their chairs, the
But-
automated
Yeah,
chairs.
But
asking
even-
questions to grandma.
Yeah, even those people, they weren't talking about the movie after it left. I think it left everybody with a little bit of a raw nerve. Everybody was just like, I need a moment.
Just
to
a hefty
breathe,"
weight.
and-
All the
in the middle of
adults
your
that were
chest.
perceptive.
walk away, and yeah, just
It's gonna sit with me for a while.
Seriously, same here.
It's
and
heavy.
Yeah,
It's- yeah.
heavy, man, heavy indeed. So I gotta extend the grande gracias. We'll try to be positive here at the spin at the end, guys. To first and foremost, Brittany and my dude Cecil, bro force, y'all, for checking out this review and you know, actually sitting down to do it with me. I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that jazz. But more importantly, we all collaborate on a project together that this man was the creative genius behind, and he's gonna give you a little shout out and some info about it.
Just real quick, guys, it's a horror variety show on YouTube where we do movie reviews, how-tos, trailer reactions, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, con coverage, news weekly,
Yes.
all kinds of good stuff, all under the horror umbrella. Check it out at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel.
Is legit, always fun, scary, informative, as we like to say. And gracias for tuning in to me covering the hottest entertainment with an edge with me, amigos, my homies here. And yeah, so I guess until next time here in 2017, hasta luego, cinemigos. But let's try to make it sooner rather than later. Until then, adios and peace out.
Bye.